Good morning, friends. Welcome to A Day in the Life. I am heading into the hospital today. It is an inpatient day. I do a mix of inpatient and outpatient. Today is all inpatient. Before we go, I of course need some coffee and breakfast. So I work for a big hospital system in Indiana, and I'm technically staff relief in my inpatient role, so I bounce from different hospitals depending on who needs coverage. One thing I love about working as an inpatient dietitian is that your hours can be somewhat flexible. This is different than my outpatient days where my schedule is based on where I have patients scheduled, of course. I'm a big morning person, so I usually like to do like 7:30 to 3:30, but I have coworkers who will do more like 8:30 to 4:30. I was the first one here today, which is not unusual for me. When I work inpatient, I very much need to like spread out. So I get my desk all set up and I have like my calculator and like all my paperwork. I just need plenty of space to have all the things I need for the day. And then once the vibes meet my standard, it is time to screen. So screening involves looking at the floors that you're covering and seeing which patients need to be seen that day. The first thing I look for is consults from the inpatient physicians. So they might consult a dietitian for a tube feed recommendation, or if a patient has a really poor appetite, maybe they've lost a lot of weight. These are all things that the dietitian can provide support for. Next, I always look for screens from the nursing staff. So if they note things like a complex wound is present, or again, weight loss, poor appetite, those would all be triggers, once again, that would get us dietitians involved. And then finally, I look through the rest of the patients on my floors and see if any of them could also use some dietitian support. So I'm looking for things like a patient being NPO or clear liquids for a long time, someone who's on a tube feed or receiving TPN, patients who are not eating. I usually end up taking a peek at pretty much all the patients on my floors. They're not going to all require an assessment by a dietitian, but I like to at least make sure. And then it's time to lock in. I usually have my breakfast if I haven't had it already, or I have a snack. Some kind of brain fuel is needed because now we are going to actually do the charting on these patients. Today I'm covering mostly med-surg floors, so it's a lot of patients who just had a surgery, patients who are in for an acute illness, people who have wounds that need cared for. I personally am not a fan of the ICU, and I also don't love anything involving babies. That's my personal preference. There are plenty of dietitians who work in those spaces though. And then it's the best time of the day, aka lunchtime. Our hospital has a program for dietitians where we get free lunch. So I took full advantage of that today. I will also pack my lunch sometimes too. But today I headed down to the cafeteria and I got a grilled chicken wrap with some chips. These jalapeno ones were spicier than I expected, and I could not hang, honestly. I usually chart while I eat, which I don't recommend you do. Take time away from your work to eat your lunch. Be better than me. After lunch, I head up to the floors and chat with the patients that I need to chat with. Today, I had a couple of nutrition-focused physical exams to do to assess for malnutrition. So when we do these, we're looking for muscle loss, fat loss, speaking with the patient about their intakes, about their weight changes. And then, of course, we discuss ways to help them get their intakes up. And then finally, I sign the rest of my notes and we clock out and we're heading home. It is beautiful outside today, so I think I'm gonna take Finn for a walk. I was absolutely glued to my computer today. I was nonstop. So I quite literally need to touch some grass. Oh, oh my God. And that's a wrap on the day. Now that I've got a full belly and the hospital washed off of me, I'm gonna spend the rest of the evening reading a book, a romantasy, of course. I truly don't understand how some people like go out and like do things after a day of work. That just seems unfeasible to me. I love what I do. It's just very mentally draining, and I just need to rot and relax and be nonverbal for the rest of the evening usually. Anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. If you want to see more day in the life dietitian content like this, let me know. Every day is a little bit different. And since I do a mix of inpatient and outpatient, that also adds a lot of variety there. And I cover various hospitals. So there's lots more that I can share if you guys are interested. Be sure to leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one.
Bye.